he was very remorseful and ashamed of himself for how he behaved. And usually that's not Captain Kirk, right? Captain Kirk is like, I've got the answer. Let's do this. And I've saved the day again, right? And he's the big hero. And that episode, I thought, wow. At the end of that episode, Kirk's sitting in his quarters with his head on his desk, lamenting how he behaved. And he even said it out loud. He said, we put on a pretty poor show, didn't we? If only I could forget. And he lays his head down on the desk, and I'm like, wow, he's a human being. You know what I mean? There's a side of him that's real. Like, we all screw up. Captain Kirk never screws up. So I really loved that they showed that other side of his personality. In fact, if I may take 10 seconds and tell you that when you go to watch Star Trek Continues, when, not if, episode 4, I literally wrote and created for that very reason. It was more along the same lines of revealing another side of this heroic captain, where he's got skeletons in his closet and he's got remorse and pain and guilt and shame from the past and mistakes he's made, and he's buried them for so long, and they basically just come flooding to the surface, and he has to deal with these ghosts from his past. So check that out. Thank you for even asking. Yes?
So I promised you yesterday I'd come as Edward today.
You're amazing. You look beautiful. Thank you. You have a question?
So obviously you've had a really big impact on people, and we love your work so much. And you've helped me through Edward get through some really hard times, and you've got one good leg, stand up and walk. And so I was wondering, when was the first time you had a fan interaction and you realized wow, these people are influenced by what I do?
Thank you. By the way, thank you. If I allow myself to think about it too much, I'll tear up as well. And I'll tell you why, you guys, because you know what? I'm sorry that everything comes back to Star Trek. But I want you to bear with me a minute. When I was 12 years old, when I was 9, 10 years old, my parents divorced, and my dad left. And I have no relationship with him whatsoever. But I found this weird sci-fi show at 5 o'clock every day on Channel 11 in Pittsburgh on my 19-inch black and white television. And there was this guy. And he was strong, and he was brave, and he took care of his friends, and he led me, And Kirk became like a father that I didn't have. So when I started getting a sense that I had been a part of anything that moved people or helped them get through a difficult time or encouraged them in some way, I was beyond humbled and overwhelmed. There aren't even any words for it. And it never ceases to give me pause. I never imagined that, when we did it, I never imagined. But then after the show went out, and even other shows, I've had people write me and say, or in high school, just really made me laugh when I just wanted to cry all the time. And when I was having difficult times, Tamaki always brought a smile to my face, or a number of other shows. But you guys, you may not know this, and I don't even know if any other voice actors will tell you this, but voice actors don't get paid a lot of money. Unless you're, flipping Family Guy, you know what I mean, or Simpsons. But anime does not pay a lot of money. But you hear what I'm about to say. I would not trade the opportunities that I've been given in anime for anything in the world. I wouldn't, because I have been so blessed by your kindness and the fact that I was a part of something that really meant a lot to people, to a lot of people, and you can't put a price tag on that. know what I mean? Yeah, Thank you. You know, the guy that plays Apu probably makes $1 million an episode. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he probably doesn't get a lot of fan letters that say, Apu really helped me through a difficult time. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't trade places. I wouldn't. You guys don't even know how much it means to me. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to try my best not to get teared up when I say this, but something has been happening over the last year or two since more and more anime fans have realized what Star Trek meant to me when I was a little boy. And they'll come up to my autograph table and they'll say, I want to say something to you, and I think you'll understand when I say it. You are my William Shatner.
Aww.
And I'll be like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, how could I ever be to anybody? You know what I mean? What that man and that character was to me. But to have that chance to be a part of something special is beyond money. And I know a lot of you probably don't have a lot of money. You're probably looking at your future and going, what am I going to do? Like, what job am I going to have? And how am I going to pay my bills? And there's all that stress and pressure. Well, let me just say something. Obviously, you need to make money to buy food, to live, of course. But let me say something as a much older person. There are many things in life that are way beyond money. They are so much more precious than dollars. And they are things that you cannot buy. Don't let those slip by in your life. Don't let them slip away. Don't let yourself get so focused on success, career, power, money, things, big toys, fancy cars. Those are cool. But don't let yourself get so focused on them that you do not savor and appreciate the things in your life for which there is no dollar value. They are much more precious. You've probably heard people say this before, but nobody ever laid on their deathbed and said, I wish I had a bigger boat. Think about that for a minute. I know we're here to have fun. I don't mean to be all heavy and stuff, but think about that. No one ever laid on their deathbed and said, dang, I wish I'd have made another 100 million. What do they say? What would they say? I wish I'd have given to people more. I wish I'd have cared a little more. I wish I wasn't so estranged from my son. You know what I mean? So don't miss those opportunities. That's my point. Sorry, all serious. Okay, somebody asked a really stupid question. Oh, she's like, mine's really stupid.
So it's not as stupid as it is like. I want to ask my question. So you have a lot of voices that people may not recognize you as, like Mezzalgard from One Punch Man. Oh yeah. What is your favorite lesser known voice that you've done that people don't? Yeah, newsflash, she does Valens too. What's your favorite lesser known character that you voice that people don't come up to you and ask you about?
I love that question. Thank you. You know, people tell me that I have a pretty recognizable voice. And even when I do different characters, like, that's Vic. You know what I mean? And I get it. I understand. I am not a chameleon. You know what I mean? There are some voice actors who are like, holy crap, that was so-and-so. I mean, they have the ability to really change their voices a lot. I'm not one of them. I'm just an actor. Fortunately, the primary goal of voice acting is not to change your voice with every character. It's to play the character honestly and authentically. So while you could say, you could take one line from Tamaki and one line from Kurtz Weber, And maybe even a line from Edward and string them together and go, oh, that's the same guy, clearly. But if you watch the show, you know that Tamaki is very different from the other characters, and Ed is his own character. And that's because the goal is to play the role, play the character. You see a lot of actors, even in movies and television that you like, and they play different characters, but they always sound the same. Because the goal is not to change your voice every time. But having said that, I really love when I get the chance to do something that is not typically my voice. I played a character in World of Warcraft called Ner'zhul.
Oh, yeah.
He's this giant leader of the orcs, like freaking 15 feet, and he's big, low, worse than Broly. He's way down there. And I just love Ikuku from Bleach, even Uncle Crow from Ruby. I love getting to do those kind of things. This is my normal voice. Walking around here, this is what I sound like.
But Uncle Crow is more like this.
So the opportunity to do something, and one of my favorite things is when somebody comes up to me at an autograph session and they'll lay a DVD insert in front of me and go, I had no idea this was you. That's always neat because I've never fancied myself as one of those people that can just be a chameleon with their voice and just never know it was them. I envy those guys. I admire them a great deal. I wish I was better at that. That's not one of my talents. So I really get a kick out of it. As far as characters that I did that don't hear about a lot. Well, Kakashi was kind of me though. Yeah, it was kind of. Yoshimura was pretty much me. Young. You know what? I'm going to give you guys a term. I'm going to teach you a voice acting term today that you can use. You can throw it out. Go up to Crispin Freeman and use this term. He'll go, "How did you know that?" The term is wheelhouse. A wheelhouse. When you say to an actor, "What's in the actor's wheelhouse?" What that means is what you naturally think of him as. The characters or the characterizations that are most naturally him. Young hero, you know what I mean, or whatever, that's your wheelhouse. That voice is in your wheelhouse. You don't have to stretch for that, that's just you. So I love getting to do roles that are not in my normal wheelhouse. I did 6 characters in Naruto. Obito, Nagato, which are variations on my wheelhouse. But there was another character that I did named Yomi. And he was this creepy old guy who cracked his rib cage open. Right? He was creepy and, older and darker. And I love getting to do things that are not typically in the wheelhouse. You know what I mean? I want to try to go guy, girl here. Mix it up. So, speaking of Naruto, yes, sir.
Hey, hi, Victor Mignogna.
Hello. You look awesome today.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you. And you're sitting. Look at this. Is so cool. You've got this, and you're sitting right behind him.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, brother. Oh no, he's looking at you. Don't look. Don't catch his gaze. What's your question?
What is your favorite anime that you don't voice a character in?
Well. Oh, look, we're out of time. Speed Racer. I know you're like, cop out. You like Speed Racer when you were a kid. No, but I wasn't in it, and I loved it. No. By the way, I was in Fairy Tail, so Mark Gear, so I kicked Natsu's butt, so I can't say that. You know what, I will tell you this. There are several anime series that I wasn't in that people told me were really great, and I watched some of them, and I was really blown away. Grave of the Fireflies. I know, right? Wolf's Rain.
Yeah!
And Steve Bloom and I are really good friends, and so I heard Cowboy Bebop was so amazing. So I watched some of that. I mean, that's not the kind of thing you can sit down in an afternoon and watch. But I did watch enough of it to go, dang, Steve's awesome. Those are some off the top of my head. Okay, I bet you people over here thought, he's never, ever gonna come and pick a question over here. This is a waste of my time. Yeah, like I'm calling on you.
Do you have any upcoming anniversary plans with Todd?
Did Habercorn send you here? No. No. For those of you that are wondering what she's talking about, Todd and I were at a convention one time. Where was it? Anaheim. And we decided at the end of the day, we're like, let's go get some dinner. So we walked down the street. We went to this nice steak place or something. And we walked in. I have to borrow somebody. Okay, can I borrow you? Come here. So he's Todd, only he's much better looking than Todd. So just go with it. Just imagine uglier here. So Todd and I walk in, and we're standing at the counter, and the hostess is like, welcome, will it just be the two of you? And I'm like, yes. And she said, are we celebrating anything special this evening? And I went, tell him. And Todd was like, yeah, it's our anniversary. And the girl was like, congratulations, you two are so adorable together. I'm like, I know. I love him so much. And she started walking us to our table, and he and I are walking behind her going, and we sat down, and for the whole rest of the evening, the dinner, whenever the waiter came, anybody, the bread guy, anybody, the water guy, we're like, oh baby, and we're just playing, just really having fun, just playing with each other. And we didn't think anyone, it was more kind of entertain ourselves, right? But toward the end of the dinner, we were thinking, this is really funny that we did this, and we figured they'd forgotten all about it, right? So toward the end of the dinner, the hostess, who brought us in the first place, comes up with a freaking group of people behind her. Happy anniversary! Da-da-da-da-da. And Todd are like, and then they're like, let's get a picture. And so we kind of leaned in and put our cheeks up against each other. I think Todd put that photo on eBay. He just bought a new car. I think he funded it. 5 minutes. I just got the 5-minute. Dude, any shark gets to ask a question. Yes? Dang, bro. Bring it in. That is awesome. What's your question?
So, just to clarify, you are also a theater nerd too, right? So, one theater nerd to another, what was your favorite performance that you were a part of? Like any play or any production?
Oh my gosh. I was a weird combination. I was a weird amalgamation of theater nerd and athlete. Because I played sports all the time, but I also hung out in the theater all the time. But in answer to your question, two immediately come to mind. I did a lot of musicals. And one of my favorite musicals was Camelot. And I have to tell you, when the director was getting ready to cast for this show, he literally called me into his office and he said, I just want you to know I plan to cast you as Lancelot. What was that?
That was easy.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But here's what happened. I said to him, why? And he said, look at you. You just fit the role. It's in your wheelhouse. And I said, I want to audition for King Arthur. And he said, I don't really see you as a King Arthur type. And I said, exactly. That's why I want to audition for him. He's like, you can audition for him, but I'm just telling you. I mean, you're going to audition with 50 other guys, but I'm just telling you, I see you as Lancelot. I'm like, okay, but I'm going to audition for Arthur. So I went and auditioned for Arthur, and I got cast as King Arthur. And I cherished it so much. I cherished it so much for the reasons I just expressed. Because it wasn't somebody that they would just expect, you know? Like, oh, we're gonna cast you as a young, clean-cut looking kid in a shark suit. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you don't have to work for that, right? Here I am, it's a piece of cake. So the other show that I did, and the reason I really love this show is because I did it twice, and I got to play 2 different roles. The Crucible. Classic Arthur Miller play, right? About the witch trials. When I played it was in it the first time, I played John Proctor. I played the main character. But when you're in a show, you're always looking at the other characters, right? You're interacting with the other characters, and you're watching the way they play that role and the way she plays that role, and you're thinking, I wonder what I would do, like if I were cast in that role, and you kind of think it through, but it doesn't really matter. So when we finished The Crucible, like 2 years later, I had moved to another city, and I went to an audition for a summer stock theater in town, and they were doing The Crucible. And the second time, I got cast as Reverend Hale, who was one of the other characters in it. And it was really a neat experience to suddenly be playing this other character who you knew very well, but you hadn't played them before, and to get to kind of do things that you imagined you might do. You know what I mean? Thank you, man. I wish you the best with your acting, man. Are we out of time? God damn it. My phone says 1:44. I'm sorry. 1 minute. Yes.
It's popular, Lluvia.
Lluvia.
So, my question is that with all the characters that you voiced, I know it's like 300 plus or whatever, but which one did you? Yeah, bless you. Which one did you think was the most like spiritually connecting with you?
Well, I'd like to say Tamaki. Beautiful inside and out. But that's a lie. Honestly, you know what? I really, really connected with this character from a show that I did years ago that very few people have heard of, called Princess Nine. It was about a girls' baseball team, and I was the captain of the boys' baseball team and was in love with the girl star of the girls' baseball team. And of course, they had this, relationship, and then they ended up having to play each other in the finals. But I loved this character so much. Hiroki Takasugi was his name, and I loved him so much, and I felt so connected to him. Felt like he was so much like me that I literally went to a sporting goods store in Houston, and I hired them to make me a baseball jersey just like the one that he wore in the show. And then every time I would go into ADV to record, I would wear the baseball jersey and the hat. It said Takasugi on the back. So I was really into that. I loved him a lot. You guys, I have an autograph session now, and I wish we had 2 or 3 more hours to talk because I love you and I so enjoy sharing this time with you. So have a great afternoon. Thanks for coming. Come to Star Trek tomorrow or come down and see me at Autographs. I love you.